headset head? I think I do. Let's put this back on. Okay. Shalom. Second, let me do this on. Visible. You can see that garment. So the garment's out in the back too. Okay. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kalei, may Yehovah Shemal Shah B'Shem Ha'Kot Kadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, GMS, who do rule and teach well. And today we're gonna get into some various topics. As always, you know, I gotta always carry the iPad with me so we can get into it. It's gonna rain today, so no point in carrying my physical scriptures. So let's get into it. So, first article we got for today is this words. Russia's holding elections soon. This is loading, but we just can talk on it because I remember it. Russia's holding elections. Putin's gonna rerun. I think that Putin's going to be elected president once again. I don't think that a new guy is going to be elected. You know, Putin's doing great work right now. He's not losing the war by any means. You know, they're winning, they're pushing them back. And though we keep giving money to Ukraine, which they use to fund and pay soldiers, and pay wages for officers and commanders. You know, a war is more than just having money. You know, a war is also having men. And if all your men are dead, well, then it is impossible for you to carry on any sort of strategic operation. Ukraine, a lot of the leaders say, oh, we have these maneuvers we want to pull, but they don't have the trained manpower to be able to accomplish that. So, therefore, one must reason that, you know, they're not going to win this war. You know, and Putin is going to get re-elected again. You know, before Putin's time, Russia was on the brink of collapse once again because it already was the brink of collapse with the Russian Revolution. Putin pretty much grabbed Russia. You know, got rid of all the oligarchs, all these guys that were pro-West. You know, he pretty much put those guys all out, and he pretty much brought Russia back from the brink. So, you know, he's going to get re-elected, more than likely. Other article I got here is from CNN.com. The first Chinese warships have docked at a newly expanded Cambodian naval base. Should the United States be worried? Right? Before we get into the article, no, not really. I mean, China and Cambodia have always had a good relationship. And that's just China increasing more of its influence in Southeast Asia. Now, just because they're doing this, are they gonna, well, we're gonna go take Taiwan now? No. That doesn't mean that. It's just that they're increasing their allies and things like that, and getting themselves diplomatically in order. You know, as America, you know, pretty much ruins itself diplomatically around the globe. That's what talks about the 10 horse shall hate the whore in the scriptures. You know, as America is isolating itself more and more diplomatically, Russia, China, they're all expanding diplomatically. You know, Saudi Arabia too. You know, all those Arab states are all getting together. You know, so Chinese warships have docked for the first time at Cambodia's Ream naval base, which is undergoing a Chinese-funded upgrade that has drawn concerns from the United States of its potential role in expanding China's overseas military footprint. All right, now Cambodia is pretty much just a colony of the Chinese, always has been. Even when you go into the history, a lot of the early history about Cambodia was written by Chinese explorers. You know, so there wasn't a whole lot of Arab explorers in those kind of areas and things like that. You know, so that's what's going on. You know, Cambodia was originally diplomatically sided with both America and the Chinese Communist Party, but they're tipping over towards China. All right, which shows you that the polarization and the polarizing of the world order is being switched out from west to east, which is prophesied to happen. You know? So Cambodia's Defense Minister TSCF visited Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy warship docked at the Ream Airport on Sunday along with his father and predecessor T-Ban, according to a post on the official's Facebook page. Right? And I believe with the Vietnam War actually expanded out to Cambodia. So obviously it makes sense that they would side with China in the end. You know, I believe that there's some sort of proxy war going on in Cambodia. The ships are in preparation for training the Cambodian Navy, according to the post. Other photos in the post show the father and the son inspecting infrastructure construction on the site and viewing a design plan for the project. Colin Call, research fellow at the C. Rajaratham School of International Studies in Singapore, said according to public records, this is the first time PLA naval ships have docked at the port, which before renovation was only fitted for the Cambodian Navy's smaller patrol crafts. Exactly. So, I said before, you know, the balance of power in the world is shifting. Right? Which should make sense that this is going to lead to the end. You know, but all this, you know, this is just going to boast in, you know, Moab's pride. You know, I'm actually going to go ahead and get some scriptures of Moab, which, you know, so-called Chinese man. All right, we're going to go into it. We're going to go get into this real quick. Because, you know, that after World War II, that's when you get the world getting split up to East and West. And right now, the West is going down. You know, which I said before, you know, you got to go into things like you know, Isaiah 13, things like that. Eventually, that's all setting the stage for the Lord sending these nations to shoot all the arrows against this nation. We'll actually go ahead and get that. Arrows, Psalm 55, Psalm 127, Jeremiah 50, no, it's Jeremiah 50, 14. Alright, so the book of Jeremiah 50, wrath of the Lamb, yeah. Isaiah 50 and 12, Exodus 50 and 13, because I'm going to get to 12 later on. Because the wrath of the Lord shall not be inhabited, but shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Right, and that's America. America is the main nation around the world that everyone looked upon, that, wow, America's great. And you know what? America was the world's, you know, most powerful power, you know, for years. You know, that status of America went uncontested, but nowadays, you know, it's starting to become contested more and more by Russia. You know, right? Verse 14: put yourself in array against Babylon round about, all you that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. All right, so bend the bow. So you know that a bow is like, you know, an instrument that you use to fire off arrows. If you look at a nuclear missile silo goes into the earth and then arcs back up, you know, kind of like a bow. So the you know, bending your bow represents, you know, all these nations that have nuclear power. You know, go ahead and shoot your missiles at Babylon, which is America. You know, go ahead and destroy this place. All right, because this is the place, the wine of the bath of fornication, things like that. The wine of Babylon. This country pushes its philosophies all across the planet Earth. These nations, they don't want it. These nations, they don't want it. And that's really what's going on right now. There's two different ideologies over the world. All right, America represents the whole liberalism, do what thou wilt philosophy, and the East is still pushing forward, a form of conservatism, ideological conservatism, being about your religion and your faith and things like that. And that's what the East is pushing for. So that's what's going on right now. Traditional values, which the East more or less, follows to a degree. Even though they're offering a lot of things like the Muslims and the whole cigarettes thing, that's off, right? And then you got the West, which obviously push for demasculization and all this other stuff, which they've latched onto, and of course twisting the scriptures and things like that. So verse 15, shout against her round about, she have given her hand, our foundations are fallen, our walls are thrown down, for this vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance upon her, as she had done, do unto her. Alright, so as she had done, do unto her. So as America nuked, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right, now it's your turn to nuke her. Right, as America went around destroying various nations, took down the Native Americans, butchered them, about 1,000s here. This land used to have, I believe, upwards of a couple million Native Americans over here. I believe some say as high as like 200 million or something, right? And they killed them, they butchered them, they raped them, they tortured them, lit them on fire, and things like that. They were cruel to them, straight cruel. The Spanish would cut, the pregnant babies, the pregnant women's babies out of stomachs and things like that. They were nothing but cruel. They took the same stuff that they did against Judah during the Spanish Inquisition, and they brought that shit straight here to America. The same torture, the things that they were doing to Jake, to force Jake to convert, is the same thing they brought here to the Native Americans. It's the same stuff, That's why you go into it. The first slaves actually came out of Spain, and then they were hunting for those Moors and those different strongholds and the same peoples. They were hunting for them. That's why they went out to West Africa, because they knew that's where, where they went off to, where they came from. So that's what happened. That's what they were doing, So we can get into it a little bit more here, because I do have a topic solely devoted to Moab, and then after I get these few scriptures on Moab, I'm going to close off that article, because the article speaks for itself, and as I said before, this just shows you the polars of the world, or the powers of the world being switched up as we move towards these end days. The balance of power is shifting from the west to the east, right, which is all organized and set up to happen. Let's see here. This book of Jeremiah 48:28. We have heard the pride of Moab is exceeding proud, his loftiness and his arrogancy and his pride and the hardness of his heart. Right? I know his wrath, saith the Lord, but shall not be so his lies shall not affect it. Right? So, in other words, pretty much Moab is not going to become the world power that he wants to be. China wants to become the new America. They want to have the rulership over the planet Earth, but it's not happening, right? Because the Lord is going to stop it from happening, right? So we'll get this. I was going to say this for later on, but I'll get this right now, and then I'll get into today's topic, which it's a brief one, but I wrote down like let's see here, how many scriptures I got? 1, 2, 3, 6, 10. About 10 or so scriptures. If it takes me about 3 minutes per scripture, I should be done in about 30 minutes or so. If I don't get anything extra and I just stick to the script. Damn, I can't actually, that's strange. Okay, so we'll just type this in normally. Okay, this is the book of verse 4 to 7. These are scriptures here, 47, 16, and 6. 16. For the things for myself, the first that I have sinned, held my peace. Long have I held my peace. And then we'll just get into this real quick. I'll be with you, ransoms, keep not back, all those nations to be gathered together. This is what I want to get close for myself. We're going to go ahead and find this for ourselves here. Long have I held my peace, KGB. Because I read this the other day. And I'm not going to stop until I find this. Isaiah 42 and 14. Alright, great. Got 43. This is the book of Isaiah 42 and 13, right? The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man, shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, vor. He shall prevail against his enemies, right? And who are the Lord's enemies? All these nations, right? So-called white man, so-called Chinese man, Arab man, all of them are the Lord's enemies, right? Because they're the ones going after his people. They're the ones that sold us into slavery. All these nations have sold us into slavery, maybe except Japheth, which Japheth was getting jacked up in his own way, right? Verse 14, I have long time holden my peace, I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman, I will destroy and devour at once, right? And that's what's going to happen. The Lord is going to devour at once. So all these nations that have been tapped the rule over us for a long time, the Lord has been silent. Christ ain't come back yet. That's what we've been waiting for. A long time, Lord. He's been waiting. Letting these nations continually hamper and do their bullshit, right? Like it talks about in where is he? Maybe it's Isaiah 25, but the earth is defiled that happens thereof. The Lord let this stuff pile up, right? And going to Esau, that since have traveled unto heaven, the Lord let Esau do all this stuff, get into space, and let all these things pile up to be a witness against her. Right? So, it's gonna come down. And at the end, it's just all gonna be the end, right? Verse 15, I will make waste mountains and hills, and dry up all their herbs, and I will make rivers islands, and I will dry up the hills. Right? And how is he going to do that? Through the ICBM nuclear missiles. Alright, we know that the mountains and hills, talking about governments, the Lord's going to lay waste to all that. We're supposed to say little mountains and stuff like that, because terrain and everything's going to be destroyed. Buildings, you see that in a lot of these different video games. They show you it, but it's gonna be real. It's gonna be very real and vivid. So that was that. Let's see, he that controls the past. Okay. So yeah, I'm done with that article. You can go ahead and read more. It's pretty much saying what I said before. That's just, another nation which, none of this stuff, just because you see it in the news doesn't mean that they've been talking. They haven't been talking. Like Xi Jinping has been out to Cambodia and things like that. We know that, so-called American, U.S. and China diplomatic relations have, they're pretty much at a pause. Xi Jinping came out to San Francisco not too long ago. And I believe they call for different scholars from China and Russia to go ahead and talk to each other. So that isn't going to fix, the diplomatic situation between America and China. America has said certain things like, hey, don't go over there to Taiwan and things like that. And China is even saying we're going to go there no matter what. So now what? So, but now things are at a pause. When you open up things between scholars, it tends to put the the Cold War on ice, so to speak. Pauses the Cold War, but the Cold War between America, Russia, and China isn't going anywhere, and it's going to keep going. And you see here, China is still making moves. So as we all brought out before, the measuring stick, second measure 6 and 1, measure the valid time diligently in ourselves. And I see part of the sign pass, which I told you before. Then I shall know that's the very same time when Christ began to visit the world, which he made. So that's that. So yesterday I made a video, about this. I want to get into this and things like that. And, yesterday I made kind of a short video. Wanted it, kind of short, sweet. Didn't want to go too long. But I want to talk about it more today. So this is from George Orwell's book, from the book 1984, the science fiction piece, right? Everyone has probably written, read 1984, saw the movies, you probably heard about it. It's one of these, I believe it's one of the earlier science fiction books that are out there, which, is it really science fiction at this point? It's more like non-fiction because of how close we are to that, and how we pretty much are dealing with the form of Ingsoc right now, where they control speech and things like that, and they get on the free speech. Like, even with me, I got an account, something got sent to my, sit down account, where they said that they're going to cut off the advanced features of my channel because I don't have a so-called positive image on YouTube, so it's all coming down to it where they're going to start taking down our channels, and we're not going to be out here anymore. We're not going to be out here to give you the truth. People are going to be on your own. And that's just too fucking bad. And I don't care. That's it. I don't give a shit. All right, because it talks about the scriptures. I think it's Isaiah 30. The I shall see thy teachers. We're out here. You guys look at us funny, you laugh at us, call us fucking retarded. Even though, we're normal people, you guys think that we're fucking psychopaths or rapists or criminals, but we're normal people. But you just, you don't like the message, He's got demons, right? So this is Thought Code, right? And I said before, it's from 1984 from the book. So who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past, right? Now in the context of the book, talking about Ingsoc. But I said before, man, you could just take Ingsoc and replace that with, America's ruling Democratic Party. You get the same shit, They're already talking about having a digital ID. Which, what was it, Nikki Haley who said that? She wants to have a digital ID. As soon as they get something like that, you can say goodbye to any sort of free speech, any sort of free opinion. The minute you say anything, remotely critical of the government, of the current ruling political party, it's over for you. Like that guy, I can't remember his name, but you have this guy who was talking about Joe Biden, and he got swatted. Someone, SWAT was called on him, and one thing led to another. He ended up getting shot. I think he wasn't complying to orders or whatever, and then he just ended up shooting. So that's what's going to go down. That's what America is really moving towards, right? So reading this again, who controls the past controls the future. Right? Who's been the one ruling ever since, the Renaissance period, right? The white man, right? The ruling power and order changed from the so-called Negro to the white man, right? Started with the Renaissance, actually. Oh, shit. Why the hell didn't you brothers remind me to get my sign? Oh, shit. I forgot my sign. Why don't you brothers remind me to go get my sign, man? Damn, forgot my sign. There we go. Yeah. So the rule and power and order changed from the black man to the white man, starting with the Renaissance period. And why is it called the Renaissance? Because it's a rebirth. Because before you had the time of the Renaissance, Europe was under a period known as the Dark Ages, right, where black men ruled. There's all kind of photos in Habsburg, Germany, you know, of these different Moorish heads and things like that, all across Italy, southern Italy, and things like that. You had dark-skinned men who were the ones in power. You know, and they were, of course, breeding with the locals and things like that. And there you go. You know. That's they're the ones that have been controlling the past. They control the future. Right now, the future back then is now our present, right? And now the present controls the present controls the past, because the ones that are in control right now, what are they doing? They're controlling and rewriting history, and of course, putting forward their own lies, right? We're gonna get Job 9:24 to start. This is the book of Job, chapter 9:24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. It covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where is he? Right now, it talks about that in 1 Maccabees 3 and 48. You know, they laid open the book of the law and sought to paint the book in their own likenesses. This is what's going on. This is what the leaks have done. You know, they've opened up the book of the law. They changed the color of the original Israelites. Right, from the people of color, they said that they were all pale with blonde hair, blue eyes in the middle of the desert, which is ridiculous, you know. And they changed everyone's color. They say that the original, you know, Philistines, you know, Arabs, things like that, or they try to say the original Babylonians were white, which is ridiculous. All right, even though the original Babylonians were all Cushites, all right, all Ethiopians. All right, they've done madness like this all across the earth. Right, and behind the judges, who's the main judge? All right, what we call Christ. Right, he changed his color. You know, from you look at in history, from being a so-called black man to a so-called white man. You know, he changed it. And how are they able to change it? Because they had the power to do so. Because they're the ones ruling. We don't have the rulership in the society, so we can't. You know, we speak up against this, but no one believes us. You know, that's why you get into. Well, very few people believe us. Some Edomites do. That's where you get the Hosea 1 and 10. You know, you get the whole Hosea 1 and 10. All right, because the place where it said, you are not my people, there should be told you that you are the children of the power. You are the sons of the Most High. You know, Yasharala. You know? We're telling you who you really are. You know, people don't really want to listen. They pull back their shoulder. Alright, so that was that one. We can go ahead and get Revelation 6. Revelation 6. And when I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, and I heard as the noise of thunders, and one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And the four beasts talking about angels. Not literal, not the four beasts that I talk about in Daniel 7th chapter. The 7 beasts of Daniel 7th chapter represents nations. And it was to represent, you know, the angels, as it does here. And I saw him, behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him had a bow, and the crown was given unto him, one for conquering, and to conquer. Right? And that represents the chariots. The laser beams, the white horse represents power, which represents Christ, as we all know. Shot. And we had the second seal. From the second seal, I heard the second beast said, "Come and see." And then went on another horse that was red. Power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Right? And this is talking about Esau, Edom. Right? And you know his name was Edom because he ate the red pottage, sodden pottage, which I believe means it was uncooked, that it wasn't cooked all the way. But there you get the name Edom from, Adam in the Paleo Hebrew. Right, Esau. Which Esau means Shashwa, which means wasted away his seed. And if you look it up, you look at the word Shash, you know, I'll tell you that means wasted away. You know, because that's what he is, he's wasted away. You know, he lost his pigmentation going all the way back to the mark he came. You know, he's all weak. You know, those guys need to take, you know, tons and tons of steroids to even get on the same level as Jake. You know, the Jake gets natural. Alright, so that was that. You get Revelation 20 now, since we're already in the book of Revelations. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and the great chain in his hand, which reveals Yahushua talks about that earlier on, that Yahushua had the keys and the chains and things like that. And the chain represents slavery, right? A mental block that's put on Esau. And laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. You go into Revelation 12 chapter, it talks about that, the great red dragon and things like that. It's talking about, back then Rome, but now they've come back, through America, NATO, and the EU. But you also got other Edomites as well, but they're not, a part of the beast system, like Russia, and all the different little Edomite tribes that are within Russia. They're not a part of the beast. They actually despise the beast. Like those Dagestanis and things like that, Chechens, and all those guys, they don't fuck with the shit. They don't fuck with American shit like that. They maybe go here to get the money, but that's it. They don't fuck with it like that, In Dagestan, they even go against people doing, public shows of affection. You can't even, hug and kiss people in public in, those Dagestani countries, which they're right to do. That's one of the wicked things that goes on in society that, the scriptures talk about that, let the marriage bed be undefiled, things like that. Who knows the ways of a man and weakness woman? You're not supposed to know those things. I shouldn't be able to go, walk down the street and see two people making out and shit. That's a man's wife should be privately, not out there in the open. But that's just one of the things they do that's very wicked in this society. So, I'm not done with this actually, right? Verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, which is Europe. Look to Revelation 9th chapter, Abaddon, which is Kaiser Wilhelm. Right, cast him to the bottomless pit, shut him up. It says, seal upon that he should see the nations no more till 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he should be loose a little season. So, when you go into history, you had Constantine, right, which is a Jake, right? He was around the 300s, 300 AD, and that time period ended, the so-called Dark Ages ended, and around about the 1300s, when we had the Renaissance. Now, when the Renaissance happened, all those different Italians out there in the north, they were basically saying that, hey, we're going to become the new Rome, and that's when you begin to see the openings of, Revelation, the 17th chapter, where the beast system has come back in America, NATO, and the EU, which is Rome revived. Absolutely 100% Rome revived. And that's what it talks about in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all the way towards the end. He had the horn, he had a look more stout than his fellows. That's America. It's coming right back again. And he came back right back again as a Rome. It's America, NATO, and EU. Which back then was Rome. There's different allies, different tribes that they conquered. Visigoths, Suevi, the Gauls, Gallic tribes, I don't think they went to Caledonia, Britannia, things like that. There's different tribes that are out there, across France, Luxembourg, places like that, which now came back as American Union in the EU, So that was that. So right now we're still in that little season where he's had that rulership. It hasn't even been a day to the war where they ruled. They say he got their power kind of started in the 1300s. It hasn't even been 1,000 years. It's been, arguably around about 600, 700 years. They haven't been ruling that long, So we go ahead and get into the other thing. Second Ezra. Is it Revelation 20? What the hell? What was I gonna get? 2 Ezra 6, 9, and 10. Alright, so this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. I thought my phone, I thought I left the volume on my phone or something, but it was just the cop. You know, he seems like he's a cool guy, you know. And if he was gonna kick me out, I said, oh, okay, you know, that's alright. I'll go somewhere else, you know. But there's not really a whole lot of places you could use around here, because all these areas. Like if I go into that park over there, well, one, it's a park, and that's the worst place you could camp. Like a park without a back cover. You know, you ideally want to have something where you can have your back against the wall or something. Then you only gotta watch left and right. You know, if you got your back, then someone could come at you from behind or something. Which happens, you know. It's happened to brothers where, you know, you'll be getting into something, you know, so-called controversial, and then someone will like throw something at you, you know. It also depends on the time too and where you are, you know. I know, because I've heard about it. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And 5. 2nd Ezra 6 and 5. And the other present years were sought out, or ever the ventures of them that now sin returned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Alright, the ventures of them now sin returned. Now, I believe that when you go into like a different translation, it means that before dumb godly devices were ever like formulated, you know, before they ever came up with this stuff. So we got here Bible Gateway. And here, favorable to me. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is what is this? Common English Bible, 2nd 6 and 5. Before the present years were reckoned, before the imagination of those who not sin were alienated, before those who stored up faith as a treasure were sealed. Alright, so before the imaginations of those that did not sin were alienated, you know, which is going to come right now, you know. All those things are going to be destroyed. You know, they're going to be pushed out. The imaginations and machinations. That's Psalm in the 2nd chapter. Why do the heathen nations rage? You know, because they think that they're going to be the ones to rule. They think they're going to have their new world order. They're not going to have it. You know, because the nations have sold out. And of course, you know, those that were sealed, that have gathered faithful treasure, that's secureness of their salvation, the bosom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Alright, so that hasn't happened yet. The elect have not been sealed. Those who hold faith for treasure. That's talking about the elect. Because no one else in the society holds faith as a treasure. They hold, you know, their own survival and their own, you know, selfish imaginations as a treasure. You know, things that they want to do. You know, they don't want to follow the order of the scriptures. They don't want to follow the law. They don't want to keep, you know, Torah. You know, they don't want to do it. Right? They want to eat pork, shrimp, lobster, and all this nonsense. Right? Verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Alright, so the current world order will be ended by the Lord himself, by none other. No one else is going to be the one to take this thing out. It has to be him. Alright, so these people saying, oh, that, you know, if there's some sort of attack, America's going to win, and they're going to be around for thousands of years. America has all these great plans. They're going to be around to 2050, 2060. You know, well, bad news. It's not going to happen. Alright, because this world order, even right now, it's coming to an end. How could America think that they're going to survive another 100 years? You know, it's over. You know, it's only a matter of time before the Lord comes back and puts an end to this place, which we see is coming in very soon, because we got the measuring stick. These are the scriptures. And it might not actually been 2nd Ezra 6th chapter. Let me see here. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. And then I answered and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, and what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Alright, so what shall be the parting asunder of the time? So when's going to be the end of the first and the beginning of the second, you know, the new age? What's going to be the division? You know, you got it right here. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Right? For Esau is the end of the world, the age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? So Jacob held the heel of Esau first. Right? He held him down first, which represents that Jacob was always going to be the one to have the rulership. Right now, Jacob has been supplanted. Jacob is at a lower state. Esau is at a higher state. A so-called white man, they got the rulership over the whole planet Earth. I don't want to hear no BS or anyone say, oh, well, no, they don't. No, they don't. No, they do. They absolutely do. You know, all these nations are afraid to come against America. You know, you got it here in Isaiah 47. You know, America has been that virgin daughter of Babylon. America's never had been fully besieged. Now, there's been domestic attacks in America, right? Such as Pearl Harbor, which I can't remember who was the president. Was it Woodrow Wilson? I can't remember. But in World War II, Pearl Harbor was allowed to happen on purpose because Revelation 13 had to take place. They caused fire to come down from heaven, you know, in the side of the world. You know? So they allowed that to happen so that they could nuke it. You know, so that whole thing happened on purpose, right? And then the other time was 911, which they also allowed on purpose, which, you know, then allowed, you know, America, you know, a nice little gateway to go down to the east and flex its muscles, which they've always been doing. You know, America's always been flexing, you know, its muscles, you know, unofficially in the Middle East. Things like the Soviet-Afghan War, the Iran-Iraq War, which America was backing both sides of the Iran-Iraq War. America's always had its foot in the Middle East, but just 911 gave them a pretense to, you know, have a nice little presence in there, you know, which they've been in there for a hot minute. And they're still in there in certain parts of Syria, which is now why you're seeing missile attacks and different attacks on U.S. bases in Syria, you know, right? Let me see here. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras, asked thou not. Alright, so the hand of man betwixt the heel and the hand. So just understand between the man's hand and his heel. So understand the beginning and the end. Don't try to get into the details. You know? That's all the angel Archangel was telling Prophet Esdras. Don't worry about all the details. Just, you know how this is going to end. This is how it started. This is how it's going to end. Don't worry about the details. Right? Which now Ezra, whoever he is nowadays, he has details. Now he understands. Because he's around these times now. He's around for the end days. And now you can see that, oh man, look, like these geopolitical tensions are at all-time high. Geopolitical relations are changing. You know, this is a very polarizing time that we're living in. You know, this has to be the time of the end. Right? This is nothing but wars, rumors of wars going on. Right? And go back to the thing, you know, about how, okay, well I mentioned Daniel 7. To go back into who controls, we'll read this again actually, right? Next 84, who controls the past controls the future, who controls the present controls the past. So pretty much going to how the elites, they change history. They rewrite history, going back into that right now, right? Because, you know, we kind of swerved off for a second, and then I, you know, kind of, you know, went into a little bit more detail, but I don't want to rant too long here. I want to, you know, be kind of straightforward. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 25, verse 5. Thou shalt bring them the noise of strangers, as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud, and the branch of the terrible one shall be brought low. Right? And the Lord is going to do that himself, because these ends will not come to an end by no one except the Lord. He's going to be the one to come down and put an end to this himself. He promises that over the 2nd Esdras 6th chapter. Verse 6. On this mountain shall the Lord of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines and lees, a fat feast full of marrow, of wines of lees well refined. And it's talking about our people. The Lord's going to give our people a feast. He's going to worship, he's going to work with our people and give our people, you know, the benefits, you know, once we're in the kingdom. Verse 7. And he will destroy on this mountain the face of the covenant cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all the nations. Right? And this mountain is talking about America, because a mountain is a government, as we all know. Right? and he's gonna destroy in his mountain. He's a covering castle of all people, and the veil that spread over all nations. Now we can go into the word covering. Another word, it's sakak in the Hebrew. Sakak. There's no ka. A covering, a veil, that which covers the faces and makes them sad, rather the veil which keeps their hearts from the Most High. That's not true. That's not. Well, really, you could say it covers, our people, but it's really going to how they cover history. But when they go into the book letter Bible, they don't understand all this. This is Lawat in Paleo Hebrew, also lot, right? Covering or veil, covering. Well, you're not gonna get much out of that one. You got to go to the other one, which is Ezekiel 28. Right? So, destroying this mountain, the covering cast of all nations over all peoples. Right? We already went into the first Maccabees 3 and 48. I mentioned it. You know how the nations, they opened up the book of the law, start to paint their own likenesses therein. These are the nations. They were doing that back then. Now they're doing it again here. Right? Well, they accomplished that. This is the book of Ezekiel 28 and 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord God, thou seest of the sum full of wisdom and perfect beauty. Right? And Tyrus, the modern day Tyrus, is really America. Because it talks about in the first couple of verses that, Tyrus has been in the waters. You have both the waters around about you. America is the one with the waters around about it. You have the Atlantic and the Pacific. The Pacific to the east, the Atlantic to the east, the Pacific to the west. Right? Thou hast been Eden, the garden. God, every precious stone was that covering, the sardis, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of the tabrets, thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. Right? Pretty much going to how Esau was around back then. Esau was in the garden of the Most High. His spirit was around back then, and the serpent-like people, which I mentioned in Revelation, the 20th chapter. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, I have set thee so, thou was upon the holy mountain of the Most High, that's rough up and down, in the midst of stones of fire. Right? That really goes into a lot of different things, but anointed cherub that covereth, another cherub is like an angel. So, an angel meaning a messenger. So Esau is a messenger of doom and death. Now he talks about that in Isaiah 25, 24 maybe, but it calls Esau Duma. Now, Duma is a symbolic name for Esau, which means death. Right? And that goes to Revelation, the 6th chapter. Esau, he means death. His name means, represents decay. It also represents death. Duma. It represents both of those things. Right? Let's see here. The Holy Mountain of the Most High, right? Because he was around in Israel, is there right now. Right? Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of stones of fire. It's talking about the Adamites. And I've heard a brother break that down. Call him brother. Right? The point is, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. Right? If you go into that word covereth, it's sakak, cover, screen, cover oneself. Screen, cover, weave together, fence about, overshadow, shut off. And that's what they've done. They shut off history. They've covered history. Now they not only covered the true images during the dark ages, the image of the Lord, right? They've also covered history. The Gulf of Tonkin incident is for one, right? That United States USS intelligence ship was never attacked by was it SVA. They were never attacked at all. You have other war lies. The Spanish War was started off the war lie. Was the RMS Lusitania in World War I? That was a war lie. So everything America does, all these wars that America's gotten itself into, they've all been started off with lies. Every last one. They've all been started off with lies. They've been engineered in some sort. If you read about it in Daniel 7 and 20, I think where it is, before whom three fell, the British, the French, and the Spanish. All those things were all engineered. They all were planned out. The bankers have been very involved in each of those things. Maybe not the French and Indian, maybe not that, but they still manipulated events, things like that, playing off the various Northern Kingdom tribes, Gad, Reuben, things like that off each other, the French and Indian war, things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think, I think I've made my points for today. I think I'm done. I want to get into that. Esau is the one who controls the present. He controls the past, right? And he also is controlling the future. But that future is coming to an end. We will not have the rulership over the planet Earth forever. It's over for you. Oh shit! I'm breaking up my notebook. Let's see if I can fix this. Alright, we can put this away now. And it's pretty much that. Let's put this away. Alright. Let's say Kalaima, Yahweh, Bashimel, Shah, Bashimel, Kapash, and I'm gonna close out. Shalom to all the Akim. Stay strong, brothers. Stay strong.